Sunday show. Sunday show after a Saints loss. Media day tomorrow. Pelicans on deck. Should be interesting. Make sure you smash that like button. Let's go.
First took away. Dance with this. Get your money's worth now.
Presented by the Scott Vicknair Injury Law Firm. Have you been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore? Scott Vicknair handles it all. Give them a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. Yes, a free consultation. They always fight for the win, and also powered by 4D Energy.
Wow.
That was terrible. That was an awful one. You weren't ready for it.
I was ready for it. I was ready.
What you got? Yeah, there it is.
That's the good one, though, Chris. That's the good flavor there.
You're muted. Chris is muted during this.
More. Just making it rain with fourth dimension. Come on, dog. This is what we are. This is what we do.
Before we even got into the show, this was one of the funnier comments. I had a good laugh at this one. Who needs cat when you got clubfoot? From Trey Jemison. So, we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about cat. We're going to talk about Mitchell Robinson possibly being a trade target. Yes, I know he's not coming back till December, January. I understand. We're talking Trey Murphy. We're talking Jose Alvarado extension. That's what we're going to start off with. We're going to talk season predictions. First and foremost, Ross and Chris, how are we doing tonight? You look miserable,
Saints.
Ross. You just
The
look
Saints
miserable. Do you want to say something? Yeah.
No, but nothing more than the Saints are who we thought they were.
Yeah. Chris, anything? No.
No. Just happy to be here and talk basketball. This is not the football show.
Just
Lito had an epic day on Twitter. It was a good one. When Carr threw the pick six, he goes, "I'm not going to say it, but y'all know what I'm thinking. Like, you know exactly what I want to say." It was a tough day for the Saints. Tough day. All right, let's talk Jose Alvarado extension. 2 years, $9 million. Ross, let's start off with you. Awesome story for Jose, right? Goes undrafted, 2 contracts now. Gets, I think, the extension of 2 years, $9 million. What are your initial thoughts on the deal?
So I feel like I shouldn't have to say it, but obviously good for Jose. You know, just the whole story. Guy clearly works incredibly hard. I think he's elevated portions of his game to make himself a viable NBA player, which I didn't think he could be. So great on him for continue to get better, all that stuff. For me, the deal, it kind of struck me two different ways, right? One, this is the going rate for a backup point guard, or a third guard or a fourth guard or whatever. I think it's a pretty team friendly deal. It gets, Jose some extra guaranteed money, good all around on that side of it. The other side of it for me was it's the type of deal, and the timing of it strikes me as that it feels like there's something else coming after that. But I just don't know what that is. And I feel like I've now said this 2 or 3 times this offseason. And so maybe I'm just totally full of shit. But it's the type of deal that makes me think, well, you now have 3 or 4 guard. I know we'll get into it, but there's this thing between Hawkins and Jose where there's just not going to be enough time. And that another move really needs to be made. Is this another step to something that's going to happen down the road? I don't know. But otherwise, look, I think it's a totally fair deal. And good on both parties for getting it done.
Chris, initial thoughts, and then I want to talk about a name you had mentioned there, Ross. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, man. I'm happy that somebody like Jose, was able to make it to this point. Regardless of where his career goes, he's Ross said it all. He obviously put in the work to be in this position. And look, we've been critical of him, but we've also talked about how important, whether it's to the Pelicans, it points to some of the Pelicans' problems overall, or just to how impactful he can be. We've talked about how effective he can be in spurts. And look, I was looking on Twitter. It was people well-respected basketball folks that thought that he took a discount. Thought that was kind of low for someone of his perceived impact. So, we all can remember the early days of Jose Alvarado, from when him just being on the bench and being somebody who was almost like, a cheerleader, to somebody that kind of was able to be a vital part of this team. But someone getting paid that amount of money, which isn't a whole bunch in the grand scheme of things, I hope that when it is time for this team to make certain roster decisions and the talent becomes better, if Jose doesn't continue to improve, if the shooting falls off, if there are flaws, if there aren't things that don't get better, I hope that we can keep in mind that where he fits in this league. But at the end of the day, man, shout out to him. He put in the work and deserves, I think, every dollar.
Yeah, and Chris, you mentioned something like being critical. Like, I think it was fair criticism, and like there was like a bad 2-for-1 in one of these games. I think he really struggled in the playoffs. But Jose Alvarado is a very important piece to the team, especially coming off the bench. He's an energizer, and like I see that, Ross, but like he's an energizer off the bench for a team that starts off slow all the time. How many you can count? I mean, there have been multiple games where Jose Alvarado saved you. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Like Jose Alvarado, and then when Najee Marshall was there, like they would come off the bench and flip a game where they got off to a really bad start, and Jose Alvarado would literally just come in, bring energy, get the team back into the game, and eventually you would either win that game. But you mentioned a name, Ross. I had to think, when he signed, I'm happy for him. But Jordan Hawkins now. What's the plan here, right? Because I don't see a way, because you just said a lot of guard. I don't see him cracking the rotation again. I really don't. Year 2, will he get a shot? Yeah, he will. Will he get a fair shot? I don't think so. Willie Green's a big Jose guy, and rightfully so. He's comfortable. He's clearly comfortable playing Jose over Jordan Hawkins. Do you think that Jordan Hawkins can make some noise early on this year, Ross, to where he can maybe get some minutes? Do you see a path to where he can get 15, 16 minutes a night? I really don't see it.
Yeah. 15 or 16 is a lot. I mean,
he averaged whatever it was. What did he average?
But you have another guard. I know, but you have another guard in Murray this year. Just think about it like this. If he's playing 15 minutes a night and Jose is going to play somewhere around 15 minutes, that's probably what he played last year. Like those two guys aren't playing 30 minutes a game this year combined. They just aren't. I mean, there's not enough. The minutes don't exist. So one of those two, either with Jose's energy and kind of some of the things that he can do, from just being a pest perspective. And if the shooting carries over and he just brings something like from an energy level, not only to the team, but to the crowd, like what's going to be more important, that, or can Jordan Hawkins turn into the shooter that he's supposed to be, right? Like whichever of those two things happen, because for me, the shooting is way more important, but like Hawk didn't shoot that great last year and he didn't look all that great in summer league. And I don't know. Like if you leave it up to Willie, we know who's going to play. And it's not going to be Hawkins. Like if he's given those two options, all things equal, I don't see a lot of minutes for Hawkins early in the year. I just don't. To
your point though, Ross, like Jose impacts winning more than Jordan Hawkins.
I mean,
you disagree with that statement?
I just don't. I mean, I think it's an unfair statement, right? Like because there were a couple games last year, like the Dallas game specifically, where like Jose isn't
winning the game.
The one they won. I'm saying Jose isn't capable of doing that. He's not capable of having a game like
he did against Denver, right? He did against Denver. He dropped 30. I mean, it was one time, but I think it was a career high. I don't know what game it was. I forget, but I think he dropped like 30 something against Denver.
In
at
theory.
home.
Fair enough. Okay, so he's done it once. But Hawk in a handful of games last year had a few like that, where like Jose just with some kind of regularity isn't capable of doing that. So it just depends on what Jordan Hawkins is. Like, did he get a fair shake last year? Did he get enough time for you to like be able to make that evaluation long term? I didn't. But the fact of the matter is, winning today for me is more important than winning in 3 years. And if you can turn Hawkins into something that can help you win today, then it was cool. And I wish you all the best, my brother in Christ.
You say breast? Your internet's struggling. You say
Is
best.
it? God.
Yeah, your internet's terrible. You say breast. This is a family show.
Breast.
Here. That's what it sounded like. 504. I know you think
breast
you're
or
like,
breast, man.
I know you added a laughing emoji here, but like, nah. Like Jose's a really good point guard for Zion Williamson. By the way, he's like an actual traditional point guard, and at one point last year was like the only guard that would look for like that only ran a PNR with Zion. Chris, go ahead with Hawkins.
I actually do think that there's a route for Hawkins to make the rotation and play regular minutes. I don't know if it's 15 minutes a game. The question I would have is how extended is the rotation? Do they go 10 players? Do they go 9 players?
Oh, jeez.
And what big is coming off the bench? Are they going through? No, I mean, I'm serious.
Oh, I was like, I didn't know we had. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like, is Carlo coming off the bench? Is Trey? Is like who coming off the bench?
Say the name.
No, I won't. Is TJ? You know, and you know, look, I think we all talked about. Me and Lito did a show about Javonte Green. I kind of pencil him in the rotation, but it doesn't mean that that's gonna happen right away. I mean, this is a dude that they signed a month ago. They signed it. So does that mean that he's just right away penciled into the rotation? I don't think so, even though he seems like a dude that will ultimately work with how Willie Green likes to play. But when you look at the bench, like outside of the two guys that they're sacrificing because of some of their bad decisions and the Brandon Ingram situation, they're gonna have two guys who are essentially starters coming off the bench. Whatever mix that is, I don't count them. CJ and Herb, or if it's Trey and Herb, those guys are starters, but they just so happen to come off your bench. Outside of that, how many other true bench guys do you have that you can 100% pencil in? You got Jose Alvarado. Can you 100% tell me that, what? Who am I looking at?
Antonio Reeves is not. You can't pencil in Antonio Reeves.
No.
You can't pencil in.
Yeah.
You can't pencil in Missy. Who knows if he's on the roster? You can't pencil in Carlo. You have no idea because he's never played a minute in the NBA.
Yeah.
So that's 3 right there.
So you have about 7 or 8 players and then a question mark. So, I mean, to me, I don't see why, at least to start the year, Hawkins won't have an opportunity. So even if it's 10 minutes a game, he should.
Yeah.
He definitely should be in the rotation to start, and we'll see where it goes from there.
But Chris, this is what I hate about it though, because he should have a chance. Is he going to get an actual runway to make mistakes? Because this is my problem with the way they treat Jordan Hawkins. It's like, okay, he has a 34-point game, gets 6-7 minutes, and he's out the rotation because he messes up 1 or 2 times. As a player, we've all been there. You can't succeed with that type of like leash, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it's such a small leash to where, like, if I mess up, like, I'm playing timid, I'm playing scared as a player, especially the NBA level. Like, I don't think he'll get a fair shot. I really don't. Really don't.
That's the NBA. I mean, like, I don't. Yep. Like, you've got CJ McCollum, you have Dejounte Murray, you got Herb Jones, you've got Trey Murphy, you have Brandon Ingram. Like, yeah, dude, you're not going to get like a runway. Like,
so the number 8. What was Jordan Hawkins' pick? What was he picked?
It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it does. Of course,
14th or something. He wasn't in the top 10.
He's a lottery pick.
13. The fact of the matter is like he now finds him. Now look, it's traded. It's a totally different conversation we're having. But right now you have like, there's just no room. And so, yeah, like if my option is like Murray play more or Herb play more over like maybe letting Hawk work through some failures. Like, I don't know, man, I'm trying to win some games.
Okay. So if you're trying to win, shout out Chaz, what depends on the goal, then what? Like, I love Jordan Hawkins. He's one of my favorite guys. We don't have a starting center on the team. We don't have a center on the team.
And this could work itself out. Like this could work itself out with one move. But that move hasn't been made. And like, there's not a lot of rumblings that move is going to get made. And I think until it does, like, Hawk's going to have to bide his time.
Yeah. I absolutely love this question. And by the way, guys, I'm starring a lot of y'all's comments. So at the end of the show, if you're new here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But we will get to the fan question at the end of the show. I will make sure to star this. This is a really good question. I'm actually interested to hear these guys' thoughts. One more thing. I want to shout out
Lito. All right, Lito.
one more thing. Shout out Lito. This kid's name is William Stutz, by the way. He is now working with Boo Crew Media, covering high school sports, sophomore here at Brother Martin. He does an absolutely awesome job covering high school sports. So appreciate you, Will. You're doing an awesome job, man. If you haven't already, make sure you go follow him on Instagram and Twitter as well. He's doing a really good job. So let's talk now. Oh, this was weird. Trey Murphy's not a really big tweeter, I guess you would say, last night. And people are saying, well, this could have been the Alabama Georgia tweet, which I looked at it like he rarely talks about football on Twitter. Had this came up. This is all he said. Obviously, I think this is an interesting comment. He still hasn't been, his extension still hasn't been done. Christian Clark came out with a couple thoughts today about how who was it? Jaden McDaniels signed, I think, a day before the season. I think he got 4 or 5 years. He gave up another example. So in the next couple of weeks, you're going to start seeing negotiations, maybe more chatter about Trey Murphy's extension. Chris, we'll start with you. We've heard a couple of things where he's not too necessarily happy so far. We've heard a couple of rumblings, things here and there that he wasn't too happy with the offer, the original offer, that is. So do you think something gets done here with Trey? Do you think this is, do you think that tweet's nothing? Do you think it's something? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, I didn't think of anything when I saw the tweet, to be honest. I thought the examples that Christian put in the article of Devin Vassell and McDaniels both signing in October were definitely good examples of situations. And I remember even when McDaniels got paid, I was like, damn, that feels like a lot of money. Same for Vassell. Damn, that feels like a lot of money.
Me and Jarrett were there for Trey's me and Jarrett were in the building for Trey's actual thought, his reaction to hearing the news.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that they're gonna get it done because I think that they have to. The interesting part about Trey is that most people that are in Trey situations, it feels like it's hard for some of these guys not to take some of these offers, these rookie scale offers. If it's anywhere, we talking over $100 million. Like some of these dudes, they really haven't figured out who they are yet. I can see what Trey looks like if he's maximized as a player. I've got a chance to see him in different situations and see a dude that could, look something like, an all-star for, a year or so, but somebody who's very valuable. And the thing with Trey is that I think he knows that now. This a dude, since he entered the league, he's kind of, he's built a lot of relationships with really good players around the league, different networks, media, so on and so forth. So he knows his worth. And I can promise you, if he was on the open market, it'd be a lot more than whatever he says yes to today. That's how high people see him or view him. That's what his agent thinks in regards to how he's viewed around the league. The problem is, Justin, I don't even think it's the money at this point.
Yep.
I think it's the fact that he's earned an opportunity to start.
There it is.
He's going to get paid.
Right,
he's going to get paid no matter what. If he's frustrated about anything at this point, it's I gotta wait another year to start. And am I 100% sure? Am I 100% sure if I wait another year, you guys aren't gonna give me another excuse not to start me after I sign this deal? He's gonna start eventually, but how many times can you continue to tell me this? He should have been starting possibly last year. He should be starting this year. Like what?
What is it, man? Good point.
You start Daniel Tice. I don't give a fuck if we don't have a center or not. You gonna start Daniel Tice, who was thinking about playing in Indonesia versus playing for the Pelicans.
Shout out Indonesia.
To play him 15 minutes. That him over me. Why? Go ahead.
Bro, I totally agree. For me, it's about trust. It's like he's gonna get some obscene amount of money. from somewhere, most likely from the Pelicans at some point. But again, I mean, we've told this story now like over and over and over, but Trey Murphy was starting and played incredible in like 4 consecutive games at the end of last year that were must wins, mind you. If we wanted to try and avoid the play-in, I remember these games like they were yesterday. It was like 4 or 5 games before that Laker game where this dude went like 31, 27, 30, 20, averaging
major minutes too, by the way.
Going nuts, playing unbelievable basketball. And then he had to stand there and watch a guy who hadn't touched an NBA floor in however long come in and call it whatever you want. Basically,
it was the Ross game. That's what we're calling it.
Take a spot that at that point in the season, in that situation, he had earned the right to. So for me, it's exactly what you just said, Chris. It's about trust. And I don't think he trusts this organization to do anything that would be ultimately right by him. And I think he knows that, and he's going to do whatever he thinks is right by him. And if that means waiting, so be it. I'm still very concerned about this situation. I am, because I think you risk alienating him so bad that he says, you know what, I don't want to be here any longer. And that's what you can't have, because he's going to get the money, whether it be from us or from someone else. But I mean, how many times now in the last 5-10 years have we seen somebody take the money and then 2 months later say, hey, yeah, thanks for the money. Now find a spot to trade me. I'm out. I want out. And it can become a toxic situation like that.
Just tweaking. So one
Chris,
game was against.
Chris.
You want to say something, Chris?
No, I mean, I was saying that this is one of those. I feel like sometimes the Pelicans, as an organization, they capitalize off of people with low self-esteem or confused or like weird values. You know, like they caught Jose at the right time, right? They caught Herb last year at the right time with the deal that they got. I think even with Brandon's original deal, they caught him at the right time. Took him. It was 1 year after leaving LA. Whoa!
No,
wait, you know
wait,
what?
no, wait, time out, wait, stop, time out. We gotta take a time out. Wait.
Dynamite drop in here.
La. We gotta fit.
Wow.
Wait, this motherfucker. Yeah,
Wow.
Somebody have the Stone Cold music.
Wait,
just came in like Sting.
Yo, what's going on?
What's up, bro?
What up, Chad?
Comes out of nowhere. Pause. I mean, unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I caught it. Doesn't matter. What's up?
I heard Ross, and I was like, I got to chime in on this. Trey, run. Just run. Just save yourself. Get the fuck out of here. Just run. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone, brother. You gonna get paid anywhere you go. Just leave. Just leave. You see they don't respect you here. You see what's going on in the organization. Don't put yourself through this. Don't just go. Just go.
It sounds like a relationship. That's what I'm saying. It sounds like a relationship. He's trying to we're trying to give advice to somebody who's in a weird relationship. It's like, know your worth, brother. And the thing is, he knows his worth.
And the crazy thing is, Trey, they don't like you anyway. If we being real, they don't like you anyway. So they don't like it. This all side. Do you think if there was a way for them to say, if Brandon said, just give me what you was gonna give Trey now, but Trey got to go, Trey will be gone. He'll be up out of this bitch. He's out of here.
I just don't even I'm like so like I'm so caught off guard that Chaz is literally on the stream right now. Like, it's so good. First off, it is so good to see you, man. I know we always talk every day, bro, but like it's really good to see you, bro. It's really good to see you.
Man, I saw that notification. I was like, let me forget the Rashid Shaheed, fuck up today. Man, just unbelievable.
Chaz, you're not fooling me, man. Tomorrow media day. You making a return part-time? You can tell people the truth.
Hey, you know, I might pull a
That's a
Cam
yes.
Jordan. I might pull
Yeah,
a
it's
Cam.
a yes.
You know what?
This is
You know
it.
what?
Come on.
You know what?
Come on.
I might pull a Cam Jordan. You know, 24-hour rule. It depends on. Sometimes I'm gonna show up. Most of sometimes I'm not. You know, you know what? Tomorrow I'm here because I got to respond.
We're breaking down the David Griffin film with all of us tomorrow. You're in.
David speaking tomorrow.
Oh, he's speaking. Of course,
everybody's speaking tomorrow. Yeah, you might hear from the mascot tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be there, man. What's the topic? What y'all talking about?
Oh, Lito's gonna pull up the clip, and we're just gonna do a David Griffin recap of media day. And
I'm talking about today. What y'all talking about today?
Oh, okay. We are talking about Trey Murphy. So now we got well, I guess. Do you want to hear your thoughts? I guess on the Trey Murphy tweet. Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, you're talking about from yesterday.
Yeah, whatever. I sent in the group chat. Do you think it's anything that this was the tweet? Do you think it was?
Can someone explain to me the context of that?
Yeah. So this guy, his driver license got suspended, and he was going to court, right? And he was on the phone with the judge. I think he was.
Oh yeah,
late.
I remember that now.
And he was like, the judge is like, "Why are you driving?" Anyways, then you had the Stadium Pulse thing to where it's like, it's getting kind of it's more of NCAA where it's like getting loud and you're rattled or something like that. So people say like this could have been through the Alabama Georgia game, but Trey Murphy don't really tweet about like college football like that. So I don't know if there's anything. It could be something, could be nothing though.
For a person who doesn't like tweet a lot, you would think that Trey is very media conscious, right? Very, very savvy guy in the press. And given that context, it could be something good.
Interesting.
It could be something good because after Quickly got paid, OG Anunoby got paid, there's really no way to justify not paying them at this stage. Everyone's read the tea leaves. It's like you don't have many options, and this team's really not that deep. When you think about it, you're still a Zion injury away. So say McDaniels got paid. Devin Vassell got paid. What's his name? What the dude that looked like radio? Scotty Barnes got paid. Like everybody got paid, so it was up. Like,
hello, right? Go ahead,
again,
Ross.
the difference is all of those guys were starting like prior, like they were all coming off of years where they clearly were going to be part of that team's long-term plans. I don't think Trey trusts you. Like, I think that's why it hadn't gotten done. I mean, one is obviously the team is probably lowballing the shit out of him, but two, to Chris's point, I don't think he trusts the organization because I agree with what Chaz said when he joined the show. If Brandon walked in there and said, "What are y'all gonna give Trey?" I'll take that. I don't know I don't know which direction that goes. I really don't.
But see, this is the problem with not having like a plan and thinking years ahead with this shit. Like they knew after Trey was able to surpass Willie Green, the early stages of Willie Green, they knew that they had something. And versus trying to find a way to see, we're gonna put this dude in give him as many opportunities as possible to see at its best what it looks like before we decide to pay him over $100 million and not just say, well, we really only know what it's like when certain guys are injured or when he's in a reserve role. No. If you would have cleared, I'm not saying you have to clear the floor for Trey, but you at least got to get some shit out of the way. Like they haven't even cleared the room. They like you're talking about 6 to 7 guys that all are gonna want to be important parts of the game offensively. God damn, like, and you about to pay another one $100 million, but you really don't know if everybody's healthy. The best you could probably tell me is that Trey's in the closing lineup. It's just weird. And it just goes back to they just didn't handle this shit right. It didn't plan for it properly. So even when you give Trey the money, there's still a question because there's so much when we talk about untapped potential, this shit that we have not seen. We got 4 games here. We got 6 games. We got half a season when Zion's out. But what about when all those guys are healthy? What about 10 straight games as a Trey starting, 25 straight games? We need to see that because, like Ross said, I don't know if it was Ross or Justin. One of you guys said all the other dudes that we're talking about. I'm sorry.
We like to say, we can't differentiate me and Ross.
But y'all said that. So I'm gonna say y'all because I don't know which one. Y'all said all those other dudes were starting. It was clear. We don't know just yet when Trey's gonna be starting, and we're sacrificing it off of bad management of Brandon, the center position, and Daniel Tice.
Have y'all spoken about the Karl Anthony Towns trade yet?
Just a what a segue. Chaz with the dynamite segue.
Go ahead,
Chaz. When Chris first started the Spaces, I used to do this Rob Parker impersonation. That's why I was laughing when he was saying, you knew, because I used to say, you knew better, Skip. You knew better. You knew better. I knew David Griffin couldn't pull his slimy ass head out of his slimy ass. He's a fucking slimy freak. He just totally botched the entire thing. Now, bear in mind, Julius Randle the past couple of seasons has been arguably better than Brandon Ingram. It ain't much of an argument. I'm trying to be nice.
Arguably.
Yeah. Brandon look like Kamala Harris right now, but he's been arguably better than Brandon Ingram. So and got a first round pick, and you got a very quality role player and Dante. So personally, I don't think the Pelicans could have beaten that offer without a pick rich package, because Julius Randle, if he has a shitty year, you still got him next year for $30 million. He has 2 years left as opposed to Brandon if he decides to opt into that contract. The problem I have with them not going after Cat are the bigs that they've been attached to. I saw someone speak about them on Twitter having some interest in Mitchell Robinson. Now, here's the fucking problem here. Here's the problem. In a world where you could possibly get Mitchell Robinson without giving up Brandon, which doesn't really exist, but let's just say you could, right? Hypothetically, don't exist, but let's say you could. You're gonna start when bro come back after Christmas, when he come back after Kwanzaa, after all these, because he's not coming back to 2025. So when bro come back, you're gonna have a lineup of Brandon Ingram, Dejounte Murray, Zion Williamson, Mitchell Robinson, and let's presume it's CJ, right? So you have a even less functional offensive big clogging up the paint. You just added another guy in Dejounte Murray who loves to operate in that mid-range, and Brandon Harris is still on the team. So
Brandon Harris, Brandon,
yeah. But so,
yes.
But so I'm saying, if you wasn't gonna go, and Chris, credit to Chris, because Chris alluded to this in the past, you may have had some interest in Karl. If you wasn't gonna go after Puma man, what you in the game for? What you in for?
I don't think if you trade, to your point, like, if you were to trade for Mitchell Robinson, me and Lito talked about it, and I understand your point. There's no way you can start Brandon Ingram next one with Dejounte Murray. I completely agree with you, because I'm thinking Trey Murphy starting. I'm not thinking Brandon starting. I don't think there's no way in hell you can do Dejounte
in the Mitchell Robinson acquisition.
Yeah. There's no way you can help. No way in hell you can do Dejounte, Zion, Mitchell, and Brandon. I'm just thinking though, what would it take? I guess I want to hear y'all's what would it take to land Mitchell Robinson? Like, once again, injury prone. I think he's making 14, 15 million, I think this year, then maybe next year. I think he actually has a declining contract. I think he's got 2 years left, not back till December. Like, what could the Knicks be even asking for right now? Like, what could they ask for Mitchell Robinson?
I would think salary relief. Salary relief. That's it. I mean, I don't.
Like, there's he
didn't play much last year. He missed a bunch of games the year before. He's not back till for me. I would have no interest in trading for Mitchell Robinson at this point.
Those will be a different segment. I don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah, he's not going to play until 2025 anyway. And at that point, like, you're already into the season. It's not like he's any further along with your team than trading for anyone else would be, right? Like, I think by the time he'd be able to play, you could probably go trade for a Nick Claxton or like any other number of just similar-ish centers that are going to be cheap. Like, Atlanta's still trying to give away Clint Capella. There's a million of those guys. Why would I trade for one right now that's hurt?
And look, you can't – the way your team is set up from a salary perspective, you can't even trade for him straight up, really, if you wanted to.
No, you can't.
Like, you don't so you have to more than you have to involve a third team just to get all that to get Mitchell Robinson. Multiple players. I gotta make an additional call. Like, Mitchell Robinson shouldn't cost me like an hour of my time to have to like no disrespect, but it shouldn't.
Legend.
It shouldn't take an hour of my time to agree to a deal on Mitchell Robinson. It should be a 10-minute call. Hey, he there? Yeah. All right, cool. Let's do it. Like, it shouldn't be like an hour, bro. Like, till I gotta call Atlanta or call. No, like, so I think Mitchell Robinson is impactful when he plays, and I can see him giving this team a weapon or a tool that they have not had in 6 years. But the problem is with Mitchell Robinson is that not only is he going to be out until December, January, whenever he returns, you probably got to assume he's going to be out 2 months again after that. It's just what his career looks like. And the Pelicans don't have the depth, as Chaz was talking about now, that they can afford to even make a move like that because they already got problems there.
Donald, I appreciate you, man. As always, like, you're a member. Like, I really appreciate you're always here every show. Carlo Makovich, or Matt Jokic, as you're calling him, absolutely, he hasn't played us. No, just no. Okay, we can't depend on Carlo. I don't know how else to say this nicely. Carlo and Missy, we can't be depending on these guys. Okay, they haven't played a second in the NBA. Missy is years, as Chaz said. He's 3 years. What do you say, Chaz? He's 3 years away from being ready, or something, or being,
he's 3 years away from being bad.
Just go. The only useful thing that happened on last Sunday's show when Justin wasn't there was when Lito pulled up Carlo's G League highlights, and it was so underwhelming. And like, just go watch that piece of the show.
We're overreacting to one summer league game in which he had like 12 points. I can't go into this year depending on Carlo Jokic, but Donald, appreciate you, brother.
I think oh God, this is such a bad situation. I think around the edges is the answer, man. I think you still got guys out there in that 2 to 3 million range that, with the addition of Kane, who played NBA minutes in Miami, didn't get a lot of minutes, but played some NBA minutes on the wing. The addition of Antonio Reeves and Javonte Green, I think you still looking at matching salary with a Jordan Hawkins. And the crazy part is, man, the Pelicans put themselves in such a bad situation. Now that I'm really thinking about it, unless I don't know if Greg Monroe officially retired or not, unless you go trot his ass.
He's on the staff. He's on the staff.
Yeah,
I got to see him play, or coach for a little bit until I got kicked out. Go ahead though, Chaz.
All right, I got some questions about that because
there'll be a time. There's gonna be a time to talk about that. I'm not gonna
bring up the past. I'm talking about Moose. I'm not gonna bring up the past though.
That was his name, Moose.
What up, Greg?
You know what's funny?
Shout out to Greg, man.
Shout out to Greg. I'm trying to think. I'm like, who the fuck on this team got a back to the basket 1990s game, 03 Zach Randolph game, but team that struggles with fundamentals, you need a player who was good like Greg Monroe. But I'm trying to be classy. But yeah, so like Ryan just said, you still got Nick Richards out there. That's like a pipe dream at this point, but that's who me, Ross, a lot of us been advocating for this whole time. Guy like that. And you only need a center that's going to give you about a quality 15, 20 minutes. You don't need a traditional starting center. Truthfully, that's a position you can rotate every year if you get the other four pieces right, kind of similar to what you saw with Golden State. But what I don't want is shout out to Will Guillory. What I don't want is, Zion. He's like, I'm coming out, for vengeance now, and it's like, brother, it's year 6. At this point, it's like, like how they keep making Sauce, and after Saw 3, it kind of just like, all right, he's dead. So now we got to tell the story from another perspective. That's how it is now. It's like, Zion, brother, how many years you gonna be getting it out the mud? How many years you gonna be shocking the world? How many, like this season, if he goes out and has a great season and the team kind of underwhelms, it's still going to be a situation where it's like, well, now we got to see how he looks when we put the right pieces around him. And then we're going to be in fucking year 7. So it's like, that's
why keeping Brandon on this roster, like up to this point, to me was unforgivable, because you've now given yourself that backdrop again. Whenever you probably move Brandon at some point middle of the season of, well, we only got to see this version of the team they've already set that up very wisely. These
Lito's favorite nickname. Sorry, Beef Stew. Yeah, Beef Stew.
Well, it's funny. I've seen the Pistons folks in here a couple times. I mean, the Pistons are one of the interesting teams for me when you get early into a season. They signed that Paul Reed to whatever, 2 years and $18 million or whatever. So they got like 48 centers on their roster. That's an option. There's a ton of stuff. I don't, but it's going to happen during the season at this point.
You still got an ugly deal you could pull off for San Antonio for a guy like Collins, if in some salary. But at this point, it's like, shit, man.
Well,
They just need a player, though. They just need another player that can share 15 additional minutes with Tice, because you are going to live or die by your small lineups anyway.
Great transition, Chris. That's
just what I was done with. Go ahead, and whoever it is, a serviceable dude, not Cody Zeller, not someone at the end of their career, but also not somebody that hasn't played that hasn't played any NBA basketball. Like, why do I have to choose between retired and I haven't seen yet? Why can't I just find somebody average? Why?
That's all we're asking for.
Why am I choosing
an average center? Like, literally, this is the bar we're talking about here, guys.
Like, not even a top 30. The thing is you're saying like an average center. Like, an average would mean like I want, like the 17th best center in the NBA. I don't even want that. I need like the 36th best center in the NBA. Like, instead we got Daniel Tice, who I don't know if it was 5 or Chris last week. Like, he was out of the NBA. He was out. He was going back to Germany or wherever he was going. He was cool until he got that call and was like, damn, well, somebody's willing that, it's unbelievable. We just need somebody like, we truly need somebody average.
So then who is average? Like,
we just gave a bunch of names. We just gave a bunch of names.
Okay, so I see this one, Robert Williams.
No,
he's more injury prone than Mitch Robinson.
See,
what does Lito said? He doesn't have any knees or something like that.
Yeah,
that's literally doesn't have any knees. Okay, Anthony Hall says Jahlil Okafor, who just signed with Pacers, right?
Yeah,
that dude's still playing basketball.
Yeah,
I would take Jahlil Okafor today.
You know what they need?
I would.
You would.
See, for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes a night, I would.
You would. Pause. First off.
Yeah, that caught my ear. Like, what? But yeah.
Hold on, we gotta have some accountability. I'm sorry. Not this one. My bad.
Oh, man.
I thank the Lord. I thank Coach Harbaugh. Fucking love you, man.
Okay, I just don't get it. Why didn't you go and just get a fucking scrap heap guy from Denny's like Bismack Biyombo? Why didn't you just go get somebody like that who's just a professional body, like a motherfucker that worked for the temp service who just never really get hired? Like, damn, it's seasonal. Christmas rush is coming. Let's get some people in here. Why didn't you just get a person like that? Like, remember when we signed Emeka Okafor from the SpongeBob team, whatever, and he gave you some really quality, serviceable minutes? You really just need like a professional player.
Billy
Hernangomez? Nah, Billy in Spain, somewhat balling out of control. But that's the thing too. You so up against the tax that
we are in the tax. We're not up against. We're in the tax,
and you don't have many avenues to get out of the tax. So it's like there are so many cons to carrying, BI into the season that it's just insane at this point. It was Dwight Howard up to no good.
No,
Might not want to know.
That's crazy. No, you're right.
Ooh.
How about somebody that just can make it to January? Somebody to get you to February. Somebody in the chat. I think it was Cole that said a seasonal center. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I got it. Hold up.
Absolutely. Like you don't want to play a full season, bro. We just need 2 months, 3 months of basketball, and you can go back to, in Dwight's case, doing what Dwight does in his off time. So
Chris, you actually bring up a good point, because I'm glad you said that, because you don't need to you saw the small ball lineup on that West Coast trip, but we keep talking about at the end of the year. You're most likely going to play like that in your last 2 or 3 weeks in the season and into the playoffs. That's going to be your best lineup. You got to just get there. Right now, you don't have a center to get there. You don't. I can't trust Tice. Okay, whatever. Is he going to start 70 games this year? Seriously, is Daniel Tice going to go from starting 7 games over the last 3 years to 70 this year? In year 6 of Zion, year 6 of Brandon, all that stuff. No, that's not a plan.
crazy.
That's where I'm like, are you there's no way you can do that. You got to get an average. I'll even take a below average center to eat up 15 minutes a night, because Chris, to your point, your best lineup is going to be the small ball lineup. We talk about Trey Murphy. You talk about Zion. You talk about Brandon. You talk about Dejounte, CJ, Herb. That's your best lineup. You can't depend. I don't know how to say this nicely, but I've seen Zion Williamson now. He's not going to be able to play center for 82 straight games and be healthy. He's just not. Now, if you get a late April, March stretch where he's playing center and you're playing for 15 games and getting him ready for the playoffs, yeah, that's a plan. I can do that. You can't. I struggle with thinking that Zion can make it through a year.
It's kind of like
this.
It's kind of like what the Magic tried to do to a lesser degree, with Jonathan Isaac last year. They kind of their whole goal was just get him through the season, because he hasn't been healthy. We just got to find a way to get him through the season. We'll raise his minutes as the year goes along. We know what we have, but we're not starting him. First game of the playoffs, he's starting at center. It didn't work for them, but that was a part of the plan eventually, and it made sense. So if you frame it like that, I mean, I believe that Zion is a walk-in injury risk no matter what position he plays. So I don't think that center, power forward, point guard, small forward really matters. But I can see it from that perspective. If you're an organization and you want to look at it with someone who you might see as fragile, you say, well, we just can't. I'm not playing. Again, does it matter? It
doesn't matter, but the most grueling position, the most grueling position on the court is the center position.
He's a grown man. He's 270 pounds.
He's been hurt every fucking year. I don't care.
He's lost weight, and he's going to be
even worse.
Top 10. He lost weight, and he's still going to be top 10 in weight in regards to the entire league. He's going to rank in the top 10 in heaviest players, respectfully. I don't care. I get it 100%. With grueling, his game is grueling. Everything Zion does with a basketball involves contact. If you're telling me having him at center is gonna be okay, well, now we really put him in harm's way. He was playing when he was at point guard. He played 29 games. He played he got through last year at power forward. It does not matter what position you put him at. He's a risk. Why do we act like center is gonna break him? Why?
I have no response.
I think it depends on the lineup too, right? Like, I feel like if you're starting CJ, which I think we all can presume at this point, you're starting CJ.
Yeah.
I think it hurts you defensively at the rim. But if you start Herb, I think you can get away with it a lot more. But
with Zion at the 5?
Because now at the point of attack, you have more security. It's just like,
do you think Zion wants to play the 5? Can we get to that question? Do you think Zion even wants to play the 5? Do you think he wants to play the 5?
I think he's more open to it, receptive to it now. I think Zion's a guy, if he can see the vision, if he can see like the big picture, he's open to it. I think it being like a means to an end, he might get a little, he might not be as receptive. And I can just hear the excuse if shit go wrong, like, well, hold on.
I missed it.
Well, he's had to take a beating playing the 5 position because of our shortcomings at that position. And it's a bit unfair to him.
No, this is when he get nervous. He be like,
it's a bit unfair to him. And we're going to go out there. We're going to make sure we're putting the ancillary pieces around those guys so they could be successful. And not just successful. We want to kick teams' ass. Okay? And truthfully, I may not be here if we don't. And the motherfucker gonna sign a 5-year extension, and he ain't gonna sign nobody. And we just gonna be in this bitch looking stupid. That's what's gonna happen. But now, I don't know. He didn't want to do it last year, but maybe he's grown since then professionally. I don't know.
Ross, anything?
I don't I've kind of disagreed from the jump. Like, I don't think he'd be very good at it. And so I get it in small
Brett
spurts.
Usher, but he said some of our best lineups with Chris and Lito show.
In small spurts, absolutely. In small spurts, yes. You can play, you can do all kind of different things for 5 minutes here and there. I don't think it's a long-term solution. I've never thought it's a long-term solution. So my opinion is that I want to win and I want it to be sustainable, like in the long term. And I don't think a 6'6" guy that has weight problems is a long-term solution at center. Like, I don't know what else. There's nothing else to say. Like, he's not a deterrent at the rim. He's like, he looked decent at times. I thought last year guarding on the perimeter. I don't know how, he's not the best rebounder on earth. Like, I have a ton of questions. Yes, I understand that it gives us an advantage on the other end. And that's awesome. And I don't disagree with that. And I think you can exploit that advantage for 5 minutes here and 4 minutes there and 2 minutes here. I think to roll that lineup out to start games is like a potential disaster, because I think he's going to pick up early fouls. I think he's going to have to spend more time on the bench. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. That's why I don't think it's sustainable.
I saw someone tweet like Trey started the 5 guys. There's coaches on the other side of the team. Like, they're just going to literally do exactly what Ross just said. They're going to make Trey Murphy defend the post in the first 5-6 minutes, and he's going to pick up 1 or 2 fouls, and then you're going to have to deal with that for the rest of the game. You'll have to, this isn't, as Ross says, it's not Yabble, shout out Yabble, or 2K. Like, there's going to be game plans. We're not.
What's what? The 2024 Pelicans.
JCC, baby.
The 2024 Pelicans aren't the first team in the history of the NBA with 5 good players that none of which were centers. Like, this isn't like we're not reinventing the wheel of like this is gonna blow everyone's mind. We're not gonna play with a center. Like, we're not the first team to have that thought.
What's the ism? This
we're not. This is the first team that's ever thought like, this could work. Like, maybe we just don't play any tall guys out there. See what happens. It's just not sustainable.
It's all okay. If that might be a disaster, but you know what else is a disaster? Starting a man who was thinking about taking his career back overseas.
I agree with you.
Because he couldn't find work. And the Pelicans said, not only do we have a job for you, brother, you can start. If that's not a disaster, I don't care what the fucking alternative is. There's not much worse than that. He didn't have a job.
You know what? And when you mentioned not starting the center and and Jared Jones, he mentioned PJ Tucker, and I immediately thought about that Houston team. What do y'all think about something? He fucking 6'4". Never mind. I'm about to say, maybe you get like a junkyard dog type player, like a Javonte Green. You give him some minutes at the 5, and it's like, there's no good answer. Like, but if you would have told me that this team would have been so rich with talent that the only question we'd have is who to start, I'm taking that 10 times out of 10.
I'll say this.
I'm lying, by the way.
I know you are. I'll say this. We'll get to a commercial here, but Someone told me we're really gonna miss JV this year.
Buying a house is one of the largest financial investments you'll ever make. That's why you need the experience and the support of the Standard Mortgage team. Whether you're looking to purchase, refinance, or consolidate debt through a cash-out refinance loan, Standard Mortgage will help you every step of the way. For the last century, we've grown to 7 locations across Louisiana, but we've always called New Orleans home. While others are busy raising your rates, we're focused on raising the standard. Visit us today at stanmore.com, STANMOR.com. NMLS number 44912, equal housing lender.
Shout out Sam Moore, shout out Lito. All right, let's get to season predictions. I accidentally hit the wrong commercial there. I dropped the mouse and then played Scott Vicknair and then went with Sam Moore. All right, let's go. Ross, go with you first. Will Zion Williamson make an all-star team this year?
Yes. Like unequivocal, yeah.
Easy?
Yeah.
Starting?
Ooh, no. Not starting, but he's going to make the all-star team.
Okay. Chris, who will lead? No, won't go to that. Over under 6.5 assists for Dejounte Murray average per game this year. Under. Go ahead.
You want me to explain?
I do. I thought that'd be over.
It's just him sharing. He has too many people to share the basketball with. Even
don't you think it's a good thing for a point guard?
Yeah, I mean, but if they don't, does basketball count hockey assists now? Like, he got to play with Brandon. He got to play with Zion, who wants the ball. He got to play with CJ. CJ gonna need the ball. Trey gonna need his looks. Herb's gonna have the basketball in transition. You got two of my fucking missing here. This is somebody I'm not thinking about right here. What if Brandon was gone or somebody got hurt out of this group that was out, then maybe. But I mean, I don't know if he'll even have the opportunity in regards to uses to give you 7 assists a game. I think somewhere around 5. Like he could have 5 or 6, and that would look like a lot to me, just because of how many ways they're gonna have to think about sharing the ball.
Fair. Chaz, will Willie Green be the head coach by the All-Star break of the Pelicans?
Yeah. I think so, because I think the Pelicans I think they'll fail forward until it really counts, because this team is really not going to be us who watch all the games. We can judge the ebbs and flows of the season. We know how to watch things with context, but the team probably will be a solid to good regular season team. They just probably won't be good against good teams. Like they're probably like last season, like, they looked pretty.
The Friday nights at nights at home. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think Willie's gonna be around until probably the off season. I believe so.
Okay. Ross, does Brandon Ingram play over 40 games for the Pelicans this year?
Christ.
No. I'm going to stick
really?
to. I thought they would get this done in the offseason. They didn't. I still think it's the only way for them to avoid the tax, and it's the only way for them to actually improve the roster both this year and long term. So I'm gonna stick to that, even though this organization has shown me negative willingness and like foresight to get this type of thing done. I don't know. I think I'm just an idiot. But no, He's not going to be on the team.
Okay. Chris, did you want to chime in or no? Okay. Chris.
Yeah, can I chime in?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been a Pelicans fan for a long time. Hornets, the Speedy Claxtons, Dan Dickhouse, Boschon Knockbars, Lee Nayline. Look, I was there. Stacey Augment, I was there. I've never seen a player on a team that you can't get people to agree on shit. but that the collective NBA world, like national, in between local, is like, yeah, get this guy out of here. Like he just gotta go. And it's just mind-blowing to me that he's still here.
So do you think he makes it past 40 games?
How many games is before the deadline?
I think it's like 50 something. It's a little bit over. It's in February, so
I'm gonna say yeah. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay. Chris, will CJ McCollum average 20 for the 11th straight year?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Let's go, CJ.
Yep. Because while he's gonna have moments where he needs the ball, he showed last year that like CJ, we talking about an organization that doesn't think ahead. CJ's thinking ahead. Each offseason, he's thinking ahead. He's already programmed it in his mind. Like, shit, I'm gonna have the ball even less now. Like, we brought in an actual point guard. What do I have to do to work with this talent now in combination with the others? So the shooting is there. They're gonna be up and down the floor, I think, or they need to be. I think they're gonna be in transition a lot, and that bodes well for someone with CJ's games. Yeah. I think 20. I think he'll get it.
And Jared, to this question, if he is running second units, he'll feast on that for sure. So I actually think that if he is coming off the bench, he's definitely averaging 20. Was that crazy? Was it on the as feasting?
It's Sunday, you know.
That's Sunday show. Yeah. What can you do?
Media day.
Yeah, media. Ross, will Herb Jones shoot over 41.5% from deep this year? 41.5.
41.5.
Man, you put me in a bad spot.
I thought about these questions
because if I say no, then I'm gonna have Chris tell me, "Oh, you said he could shoot. You said he was going to." Because I think I could see him. I could see it going both ways. I really could. I could see him taking a little half step back and shooting 38, 39, 40%. And that's still being a very successful year for her. Like, if he shoots 39%, none of us are going to be like, he just didn't shoot the ball well. But 41.5, 42, that puts him up in that, like, elite tier again. But I ain't no bitch, man. Yeah.
Oh. Respect, yeah. Ross. Respect.
I've seen enough. A year and a half of this. That man's going to keep knocking down open looks. He's going to get more of them this year. Herb to shoot like 42.3% from three. Chris, go to bed. Go to bed.
The question is, you said 43% this year?
No, 42.3.
42.3.
Which is great because if you flip those numbers, that's what Dyson's going to shoot, 24.3. I don't feel great about that prediction. But I do think he's a good shooter.
Okay.
A good shooter. Okay. No comment.
Nothing. No comment. Okay.
No. Wait, I do have a comment. He don't believe that. He doesn't. He don't believe that, bro.
I don't believe what?
Like I respect the fact that you are sticking with what you said. Like you're trying to have some sort of consistency here. Maybe we'll do this. We'll have the same conversation until Herb. Even when Herb goes to another team, even in the afterlife, me and you will still be having this conversation about what percentage Herb Jones is shooting. And every year I'm gonna tell you until it happens consistently, he's not that guy. I'm not calling a dude that shot 42% from three on 3 attempts 1 year after being a bad shooter or a streaky shooter since he was born a good shooter. He's a good player and a great defender. He's essential. He should be on this team. He's a glue guy. Herb is a championship winning kind of player. But a good shooter is calling Herb Jones a good shooter is disrespectful to Dante DiVincenzo.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
No, I don't.
You know exactly what I mean. I don't. From a 3-and-D perspective, yeah, like he's not going to take 8 threes a game, but for the shots he's going to take and the type of looks that we know he's going to get and the positions that he's going to be put in on the court, like how open they're going to be. Yeah, like I don't think it's unreasonable. And Justin picked a weird number, right? Like I would have felt better about 40%.
That's why they give you 40%.
Yeah, because like 42, because 42. Well, I mean, you could say he's not shooting that, but he's like whatever. Go back a show or two. Over his last like 250 3-point attempts in the NBA, he's like a 42 or 43% 3-point shooter. So like that's enough. And again, if we were talking about Dejounte Murray, somebody who might take 5 or 6 3-pointers a game, a totally different style of shot. Yeah, like I hear you, and I would very much agree that I think the variability can really jump with somebody like that. But the type of shots he's going to take, and he's just not going to have some crazy volume. I just don't think it's unreasonable. I really don't. But we'll see.
Can I ask you guys a question quickly?
I'll allow it.
I appreciate you, kind sir. Mr. T, if I may. So would you prefer – put Ross' real name out there. So, would you prefer – not would you prefer, would you guys feel more comfortable with the team moving forward, given how they played down the stretch last season, if the team came out tomorrow and said, yeah, we just asked Brandon to stay home until we could find somewhere to trade him?
Yep, 100%. Because then I get to see what it looks like with Trey Murphy actually starting and giving him an actual role. I think that's something that's interesting to me because in the negotiations, right? Like, well, on the Pelicans side, they're gonna be like, well, you're okay. Like, you're pretty decent numbers, whatever. Well, if Trey was starting and getting 35, 36 minutes a night and playing with Zion Williamson instead of being subbed out for Zion Williamson, I think his numbers look a little different.
I think his numbers what you're paying for.
Yeah. So like, I would like to see if we all know that we're going to invest in Trey Murphy, I would like to see what it looks like him starting for an entire season. I don't think that's crazy. I really don't think that's crazy at all. If you're going to invest this much money into Trey Murphy, I need to see what he looks like as a starter. I've seen Brandon, CJ, and Zion start together. The numbers are not good. I don't like I don't know what I'm missing here. Like, I feel like I'm fucking crazy for like saying this, and like maybe I'm the asshole. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Jeremy's a little fucked up, right? Ross, you get that one? No, huh?
I got that.
Maybe Jeremy's a little cuckoo. I don't know. I think that it's time now. Like it's so nauseating. It's here for just fucking start Trey. Like that's all I want to see, man. That's it.
I agree with everything you just said, Justin. With I guess with one exception, I wouldn't want him to just like let Brandon stay home. Like I think you just should.
If he's going to be a problem,
I think he should come off the bench.
See, no,
I think he should come off the bench.
He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. I think he should come off the
bench now.
He's going to be a problem.
Right, and that's like whatever. And if maybe that's true, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But like in my opinion, I would have him come off the bench.
He's not
because it's not going to affect the line, like the rotation, the lineup, or anything. Like the reason I say no is because like Tice is still going to. If Brandon doesn't show up to the first game, Daniel Tice still starts at center, and so it's like, yeah, like it doesn't actually change anything about the team other than I like the fit of the first unit a lot more. That would be my only
that's fair
alteration to it.
All right, back to it, Chaz. Does Trey Murphy start over 25 games this year for the Pelicans?
If I say Brandon playing over 40, then if they trade for a center, no. If they trade for random pieces, I'll say yeah. I think he'll get 25 combined starts this season.
25?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, does Zion play over 65 and a half games this year?
It's crazy to even say that I'm playing it safe, saying I think it's going to be, I would take 60 games. I don't know if that's even fair to say with Zion's history, but he did play 70 last year. I I ain't there yet with the type of player he is. We haven't seen him. Now that he got 1 year under his belt, we need to see if we can get a second season of him playing over 50 games, right? That hasn't happened in his career, I don't believe, right? I don't think he's played over 50 games consecutive years one time yet. So I'm gonna play it safe and say he finishes right under, but probably 60 games, and that's cool.
Okay. Ross, do the Pelicans make the playoffs? Not the play-in. Do they make the playoffs?
Against my better judgment, I'm gonna say yes. Actually, I think they do.
Are they making it as a play-in team or a playoff seed?
I think they actually are going to miss the play-in this year. I think they're going to get in as the 6. They were close last year. You were somewhat close the year before. I mean, look, we've all been like, or at least I have. I thought the 49 wins thing was blown like way out of proportion because of where it puts you in relation to the rest of the league. Like you were still the 7 seed, tied for the 7 or whatever, tied for the 8 or whatever the hell we were last year. But the fact of the matter is like most years 49 wins get you like the 4 seed or the 3 seed. I think this year the rest of the West is going to be more competitive. Houston is good. Sacramento's like still trying to be good. San Antonio's improved. Memphis gets players back. Like there's just not going to be I think Minnesota is not going to win 57 games or whatever the hell they won last year. Like I think it's just going to be a more tightly condensed Western Conference this year. And I think they win, 46, 47 games again, somewhere in that range. And I think they do get in like the 5 or 6.
Chaz, over under 44.5 wins.
We won 49 last year. I'm gonna say I'm gonna take the over.
Take the over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chris, 44.5 wins. Over under.
Over.
Chaz and Chris, what seed are we ending up at? We'll go Chaz first and Chris.
Fifth.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm similar. I'm like 4th, 5th round. I think they got a real good chance. Yeah. I mean, but
4th.
I think they have a good regular.
Are we forgetting
regular
who's in the Western Conference? Yeah, I know the Clippers taking.
I think they have a really good regular season roster. I don't think that they're currently built for many teams 7 games, but we're talking about making it through the regular season, which is we know this. It's about surviving. It's about attrition. It's about playing back-to-backs with rest games and rest like we've seen this. We've seen the Pelicans be in situations where they playing teams with 4 guys out. We've seen them be three players out with 4, whatever it is. I think this team is built to kind of survive that. It's perfect for what this regular season style today is about. I think 50. I think they're gonna win over 50 games.
Over 50 games. Interesting. All right, let's get to fan questions. Presented by John Deere Sunshine Dealership. Appreciate everyone here. Make sure you smash that like button. Helps the channel. Make sure you share it. Subscribe if you haven't. We'll get to y'all's fan questions. So if you have questions for the panel, I'll bring them up and ask them to it. So we'll go like this question first here. Ross, Najee Marshall did the dirty work for the Pels. Who replaces him on the roster?
Herb Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? He's got a totally different role this year. Like, I don't like. No, who do you want me to say? Like, or who's the other dude? Forget the cat's name.
Devontae Green.
Yeah, or like him is the only other logical answer. But it's really got to be Herb Jones. But Herb doesn't have the the same grittiness that Najee does. So I don't know.
Okay. Chris from KB Flame. What's y'all's guess on a Kessler package? I forgot how many draft picks Griffin's dumbass gave away. Can 2 firsts get in with a small salary to match?
Listen here, buddy. If you got to trade 2 firsts to get Walker Kessler, we are in hell. We are in absolute hell. It's not worth it with Willie Green as your coach. It's not worth it for somebody who's only going to play 15 to 20 minutes, and we might not see him after halftime because, we want to start Trey Jemison to open the fucking second half. I can't. So I don't. I think that I think that they would trade a first, and I think that it should be a lot easier easier to get towards the trade deadline, should be easy for them. But if you got to trade 2 first-round picks for Walker fucking Kessler, we have a problem.
We don't have a center. We do have a problem. From Donald Chaz. Okay, real talk. Could we be thinking of trading Trey to get a legit center?
I don't think so, because I don't think the value's out there. Maybe if it was you're talking about maybe a straight trade for if Trey was already making like $20 million or something like that, then I think if they had the opportunity to get someone like Bam, guys who are in that realm, that like budding all-star, fringe all-star kind of guy, I think they do it. Of course, with a superstar, they do it. Appreciate your super chat, bro. Of course they do it. But I do think they view Trey as the future, even despite what his next contract is going to be. It's going to be cheaper than Brandon's. It's probably going to be cheaper than what CJ is currently making. Obviously, it's going to be less than what Zion's making. I think that's hustling backwards. Because there's not too many centers that you would trade Trey for that would even necessarily fit what you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah. Good point, Chaz. I had a good one. Where was that? Ross, if Dejounte Murray does get hurt, apparently he doesn't get hurt, where do you go from there? Back to the regular starting lineup without JV?
Yeah, you just you run to the exact same starting lineup you ran out
CJ.
there.
So CJ goes to the 1. I guess actually Herb goes 2, Trey 3.
Herb goes to the 2, Trey 3, Zion 4.
No, because Brandon's you don't.
I think you're more prepared to survive that
Right.
than you are to survive it in the past, just because you only need you can take over a couple of Paul's ball handling duties. You can give those things to a CJ, have Herb back and reintroduce Herb. And if you're looking for Dejounte shooting, I don't know how he's going to shoot this year, but if you're looking for the shooting he gave you last year, then you insert Trey into the lineup and you do more point Zion in spurts. And hopefully Brandon's nowhere on the floor. But if he is, you're built more to survive that than I think you have been in the past.
I think that was a huge. Chaz is absolutely right. That was one of the biggest reasons for me of why you go get a Murray, is because he to some extent the position he plays, the fact that he's somewhat versatile in terms of being able to play both guard spots. You now have 2 or 3 guys that can play multiple guard spots or on the wing. So it definitely insulates you more from any injury, I think.
Yeah. Chris, are you guys curious to hear what Brandon Ingram has to say tomorrow at Media Day? I'll be shocked if he. Well, does he have to actually do Media Day? Does he have to do that?
I'll be shocked if he doesn't do Media Day. I think he kind of has to.
Has to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you curious to hear what he has to say?
No, I'm more curious about the action. And that pretty much goes for everybody tomorrow, to be honest. I want to see the action. If he could go up there and say all the things that we want to hear, I made changes to my game. I know what I need to do. I'm motivated. I'm this and that. But the first time he goes down and passes up a wide open 3 for a shot at the free throw line, be like, what the fuck? So for any of these guys, Chaz talking about earlier with Zion saying he's coming out with a vengeance. It's action now for everybody involved. Words, what is that? That's gonna appease a few. That's good for our show tomorrow. That's good for newspapers and articles and shit like that. It's good entertainment while I'm drinking coffee tomorrow. But that's it, man.
Yeah. Ross, you want to say anything or no?
Yeah, just say what do you think he's what does someone think he would say?
I think he's gonna be very short. I think he's gonna be very short tomorrow, almost like Zion.
Yeah,
he didn't do press conferences. Remember, he did in playoffs, and then
that's what I'm saying. He's just not gonna say anything, other than just whatever his whatever the party line is, right? I'm looking forward to the season, been preparing all off. It's gonna be just anybody that gets excited about Media Day needs to get some hobbies.
All right, well, I'm gonna go with the $1 million question then. No one's asked this. 2 out of 3 of Herb, Trey, CJ. Chaz, we'll start with you first. We'll go Ross and Chris. What 2 are coming off the bench? opening night against Chicago.
Trey and Herb.
Trey and Herb.
Yeah,
Trey and Herb.
Yeah, it's Trey and Herb.
Been saying Trey and Herb all off.
Trey Herb. Chris, you agree with this?
I don't want to.
That's
bro.
insane to me, bro. That's
I don't
That's insane.
To, bro.
People call them the pillars of the fucking organization, and they're both coming off the bench.
I don't want to, man. I've been saying that there's no way that CJ to start the year is coming off the bench. We all know Trey's coming off the bench. The only way Herb gets into the starting lineup if Tice is starting is if CJ has to come off the bench. And I don't know with how important Herb is to your defense. And see, because Herb just being around helps like the ugly shit that you got to go through while you welcoming in new talent. Because he don't get in the way, he makes a smart plays, he makes the extra pass. You know, I mean, he'll do all the dirty work shit that Ross was talking about. That's just simply in his DNA. He's a smart basketball player. That's crazy.
All the dirty shit Ross is talking about.
That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. I
mean, of course. Lito's no one. Of course. Go ahead. It sounds a fucking word. If I were to say that, World War III.
On the playback, it sounded bad.
My bad. Yeah. I mean, look though. Having Herb and Trey come off the bench is nasty. But the problem is, and the reason that we feel like it's most likely to happen because we don't feel like the parts of the staff or the people that make the decisions have the courage to do the smartest basketball decision that there is, and they're gonna take the easy way out, and they're gonna somehow sell this to Herb. Hey man, I know you and Trey are tight. We want you two guys to be our killers off the bench. We still gonna play you 30 minutes a game. Like we want you guys to lead us, be our second unit. They're gonna give it a weird name, or they're gonna add it to the second line. Like you two and Jose Alvarado, who's going to stop that? We're going to kill second units. I know how this is going to go. And Herb's going to say, okay. Versus if you had that conversation with
that's
CJ.
That's exactly why.
If you have that conversation with CJ just going to look at you. It's not going to go the same. So I expect them to take the easy way out. What they should do is what they won't do. So,
I've never seen this. I probably only ever seen it with Carmelo. As soon as Carmelo said, "Yo, P," they said I gotta come off the bench, his career was over. Now it ended that day. You can't get nobody to agree on shit. Politics, religion, dating, nothing. Everybody agrees. Brandon gotta go. You fucking up everything, brother.
I want to talk about this a little bit because I don't think anyone's talking about it, and I don't disagree with y'all at all. Because I do think that Herb Jones is a team player. He just wants to win. He'll go to the bench easily, and then Trey Murphy hasn't started in 4 years. But if you're Herb Jones, you make first team All NBA defense. You shoot 40.5% from deep. You continuously work on your game. You'll do whatever. You play multiple roles. You guard the best offensive player every single night. You'll play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. And your reward is to go to the bench? You're telling me that guy's actually going to be happy about that? He's not going to have any type of thought, any type of feeling about that? I don't see how you can bench him.
I think the money clarifies the hierarchy in those types
follow
of
the money, right.
And I think, and here's the thing. The fact that you get to follow the money in that situation, with Herb, I mean specifically, he's going to do what you're asking him to do. He wouldn't volunteer it. He probably don't think it's the right thing to do because it isn't. But given the situation you're in, because you could break it down to him a couple of ways, like, we're trying to figure this out, man. We want to put everybody in their best, spot to succeed. And we think you'll be better suited, if Dejounte, we don't need you and Dejounte out there getting in foul trouble with us. Because Herb does have a tendency to get in a little bit of foul trouble. So, when Dejounte, think about it, Herb, when Dejounte locking the motherfucker up and he think he's getting a break, here come Herb Jones. And it's like, oh man, what do we do? You got to gas him up. But you're going to do what I'm telling you to do. I'm paying you 15 million American fucking dollars. Get up, come off the bench, brother.
Another thing, Herb Jones, besides one game, which was his first game of his career, has never come off the bench for Willie Green. He has started every single game. When he's been healthy, he's started every single game. Besides,
and we hadn't done anything. Like,
we talking about?
I'm sorry to cut you off, but like this conversation.
We took the Suns to the six games.
Is almost crazy to me that we're even considering it. We bitch every offseason about we need more shooting. We need somebody who can help with backcourt. Even last year, it was the whole reason you went and got Murray was because you needed additional help in the backcourt. CJ couldn't be relied upon all the time to do all of the, pause, ball handling, to do all of the offense initiating, to do all of that stuff. Oh, and he took 8.5 threes a game. Oh, and he made 43% of them. And all I've heard from a lot of y'all, and myself included, is that you got to score, you got to play, like, offense wins. And we're talking about possibly taking our, like, a dude that brings all of that stuff off the bench for, like, bless his heart. I like Herb Jones. I think you saw the absolute best of him last year. But, like, the whole point of this Murray experiment for me was to see what him and CJ could look like, because now you free CJ up to get even more of those open looks that he was great, that he was unbelievable at last year. Like, the offense gets even better, as opposed to just flipping Murray and CJ does almost nothing for me, like, in terms of making the team different or better. I mean, there's some minor differences in their game, but like the Herb and CJ part of this isn't even a conversation for me. Like, I don't like.
It's a good point. I didn't think about it like that.
None of those guys are the villain, though. The villain in this is Daniel Tice. Let's keep this story where it has to stay. The villain in all of this is that
it's Daniel Tice.
Fucking Tice. That's the villain.
No, bro.
You should not be in a situation as an organization to where we are talking about making a decision, regardless of the fact that they fucked it all up to get here. We should still not be talking about, well, damn, are we gonna have our best defender and our best shooter come off the bench? Are we gonna have, like, one of our best scorers come off the bench because we got Daniel Tice out there for 15 fucking minutes to start a game, to be out in the first 5 minutes? When the same people we talk about putting guys in foul trouble, look, Daniel Tice is 6'6", also a poor rebounder.
Also,
the size of a wing. Another poor rebounder. Yeah, he sets good screens, and he has tattoos and shoots corner three. That's great. He's not your fucking starting center. And now, because of that, Pelicans, this is your fault. They need to be. Y'all know that dude that be calling random organizations when players do well. The guy that called the gumbo shop when Shaheed had a really good game, or yeah. So he need to call the FBI on the Pelicans, and we need to figure out if it's a conspiracy going on. You said follow the money. That's what needs to happen. Because if I see Daniel Tice, you thought Ross was bad. Now that we're not connected, I'm telling you, if I'm on the floor for any game and Daniel fucking Tice is starting and they're healthy, they are going to have to escort me out of the building.
You better watch out. They're going to tattletale on you.
And I'll be the second person. I'll be the second. I won't be the first person from the company escorted out. So I better not go to a game and see Daniel Tice starting for a healthy Pelican. No disrespect to Daniel Tice. He's just not a starter in the league. He's the villain here. And he looks like a villain. Let's just keep it like
Daniel Tice is a fourth big on most teams. And truthfully, if you just gonna roll the motherfucking dice, just play Trey Jimison. If you're gonna roll the dice, if you're going for upside, just play the this is why I say that. This is why I say that, right?
That's true.
This is why I say that. At least play the guy who may pleasantly surprise you. If he gets you 6 rebounds and he got 6 hard fouls to give.
No, it's a good point, Chaz. Like, he plays 12 minutes, gets 8 rebounds.
You're not getting jack shit from Daniel Tice. Daniel Tice didn't even show up to team practice. Fuck, Chaz, not playing.
Chaz, have you seen X's new profile picture? Ross.
Oh
It's
yeah,
Ross.
yeah, yeah. I saw that. I caught the live when Ross actually did that. Yeah, I caught that live.
Shout out to you,
The funny part is we're having this conversation about Herb. Like, I don't see a scenario where Herb starts even if Brandon gets traded.
Yeah,
Like you need to just prepare yourself for Herb to be a Super Six man this year, because even if Brandon gets traded, in theory, that's for a center. Trey comes into the starting line. Like, Herb is not starting this year, I don't think.
Ross, let me ask you something. Do you think that there's any chance that they are preparing themselves for life after CJ?
Oh, I definitely think they are, but that's not this year, and that's what I'm saying. That's why, like, I don't think Herb starts this year. Now, this very well could be CJ's last year in New Orleans, so I mean, you're talking about a little bit of a transition year, but I don't see I don't see him starting this year at all, even if Brandon gets traded. I really don't, because I think. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. I gotta highlight the super chat. So I'm him. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
Really appreciate it. I kind of wish Herb would say no if they ask him to come off the bench, because I know that would start some shit and somebody will get traded faster.
yeah.
Actually, an interesting point. I agree with that. Go ahead, Chaz.
I agree with Ross also. That's why when you asked me about trade with the 25 games, Justin, I was like, if they trade for a center, I don't know.
That's a good point, because he still didn't start.
I don't know why. I have a vague understanding of Willie Green's philosophy in basketball and how he views Trey Murphy at times. So I can see a scenario where Josh Richardson, Gary Clark, you know what I'm saying, colored man's game. I see a scenario to where they make a trade, and next thing you know, they tried her out there in the starting lineup, and you're like, well, we don't have any spacing still. And you know what's funny too? The saddest part about all this, when they ultimately move on from CJ, people are gonna say, damn, I wish we had to do that, not for 30 million, of course, but we wish we had that savvy vet who could shoot 8, 9, 10 fucking threes off the bench and provide some spacing. But by then it's gonna be too late.
Chaz, Justin, how about this? And here's I'm also thinking about this. Is Willie Green like kidnapped and taken to like a random fucking garage where he's told that Herb Jones is coming off the bench? Because nothing about Willie Green tells me with the love of the certain players, that the style of players that he's attached to. Yep. Like, you could argue that there's no player that's more attached to Willie Green's tenure in New Orleans than Herb Jones.
I just said he's started every single game besides one, which was opening night.
Right, but I'm saying they go back to summer league.
Right, because Willie Green had to coach that team. That was his first. His first,
so like, and we already talked about how stubborn he is. You think that?
But y'all just told me follow the money. Who makes more money?
Well, no, but he don't give a shit about the money.
I think Chris is making a great point.
Yeah, he does.
This is what I think.
Yes, he does. I keep it in my pocket. Sorry, Jazz.
No,
yes, he does.
I think Griff has already kind of laid the foundation to play Herb to the left in that scenario, because he talks about how much of a leader he is, how selfless he is, how he just wants to win. And you would have to ask yourself, well, we could all ask ourselves, does CJ McCollum usurp Willie Green when you talk about voice, how the team looks in the national media? Because again, 20 fucking points, 8 threes, shot the lights out, played with one lung.
One of the best shooters in the league.
One of the best shooters. Ashley was okay with coming to this franchise, and a person who kind of knows what he's capable of. It becomes a thing where, look, Willie, you ain't really got the clout to do it how you want to, do this. Because ultimately, okay, you start Herb. Now we ain't got no shooting in the starting lineup. So,
we're talking about Herb shooting 42%.
Even if Herb shot 50%, at maximum, it's going to be on about 5 attempts. right?
And they're going to be different. They're going to be different. They're going to be different looks because Murray ain't getting the respect CJ gets from 3.
Also that, right? And if I'm a team, even in the regular season, I'll live with Herb Jones beating me.
That's what OKC did.
So I think you gotta. The obvious answer is CJ's in the lineup, and I think, man, it all goes back to the same dude. It's Brandon Harris. He gotta get out the lineup, dog. Like, it's just, what is he doing? Like,
I keep thinking Brandon Harris, the LSU quarterback, but I know you're going. Yeah, I
didn't even heard of him. Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's another LSU fan here. I think Brandon Harris back in the day with Les Miles. But go ahead.
But yeah. I think I agree with Chris that it could be an issue. I just think that CJ kind of usurps Willie Green's authority. I think. I mean, from what we know. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say nothing to get me kicked out of the gym. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, you can't say anything. You just gotta show up, bro.
You just gotta walk in there.
Just walk in there. You get invited, and then you get fucking kicked out. You know?
Man, you know, I already know CJ. You know, he don't think Willie's the brightest bulb. So he's probably like, this guy. You know?
That was a good segment there. All right, appreciate it, Jared. Thanks for being patient here. You've been sent some chats tonight. So,
thank you,
Chris. Who starts at center for the playoffs? It's a good question. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. It's a good question. Current roster.
Zubac.
They make a trade for Zubac.
Ooh.
Yeah, like a player not on the roster.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what he means.
Yeah, whoever's starting at center in the playoffs, and we all agreed that we're going to make the playoffs just a little while ago. That player's not on the roster today?
Zubac. They trade for Zubac. The Clippers go to hell. You know, Ty Lue is having the worst year of his tenure in LA. They trade for Zubac.
Sorry, I'm seeing these guys put up Anthony Jennings and they put up Danny Etling. These are just
those are some dark days.
Those are some tough days, man. If you're a true LSU fan, Jarrett Lee, that was
a quarterback, huh?
Yeah, Andrew Hatch, the transfer from Harvard, played and started games for LSU. It was bad. I mean, literally then you go out with Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. Let's get to a couple more here. Ooh, Chaz, chances Herb wins 6th Man of the Year then.
I'm gonna say between sideline slim and none. I think it's just so much talent in the league and guys that could just come off the bench and give you 25. You know, I just don't ever see Herb. Appreciate you, bro. I don't ever see Herb's offensive volume there enough to ever really justify it. And that's another situation. I think if you gave Herb more duties, he could do some of the things you see, Jose do. But that's another can of worms. You know, it's just a gluttony of guards on this team.
Ross, what about Kelly Olynyk? Damn it.
Oh, Kelly.
What about him?
You like him?
As like a cheap alternative, yeah, like I guess. I mean, I go back to it. For me, it's a Brandon trade. Like, so I'm trading Brandon Ingram to get a center, and Olynyk falls into that like category of guys where I'm like, I mean, I would rather just move Brandon Ingram to the bench versus trade him for like half a year. Kelly
Olynyk. Stop saying that.
I know, but if you're trading Brandon for a center, you're getting a player better than Kelly Olynyk. Like, you attach a pick to him, and you're getting like it's. Are you? Yeah, yeah, you are.
Let me ask you gentlemen something. What do you think the price for Bam is? You got the Jimmy Butler situation, and Bam ain't really,
Chaz. No.
Unimaginable.
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, you're at like.
So you think like Brandon and Hawkins and 3 firsts?
Trey? No, you're involved in trading that
for Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just asking because the Jimmy Butler situation. Cat goes to New York. Miami pretty much has no chance. They need reinforcements, and to me, that's the team to watch. The only issue is they don't have a center. So, you know.
Yeah. And he just signed that crazy extension. I think if they did anything, they'd get Butler out of there and like rebuild.
Oh, they're definitely getting Butler
rebuild something around Bam. Actually, I think the price would be like whatever. I think you'd have to give up more than whatever the Gobert trade was last year. I mean, I think you're talking 5-6 first round picks, like minimum.
Yeah, that's too much. I like Bam, but damn.
No, no chance. Jared. Carlo can't play for this team, okay? I'm trying to be as nice as possible from the shit that I hear on a daily basis. He can't play on this team unless he proves me wrong. I don't think that we can lean this year I'm talking about. I'm not talking about next year or the year after, whatever it may be. If we're looking to maximize Zion Williamson, their window, Carlo can't play right now. He just can't. He hasn't played a single minute of NBA basketball. We're going off of one G League performance, okay? Like, we got to be realistic here, okay? In Summer League. We got to be realistic here. Carlo, if he's getting minutes the first couple of weeks and there's not an injury, something went wrong.
But you know what, Justin?
Wrong.
This isn't Jared's fault.
It's not Jared's fault. No, I appreciate Jared. I like Jared. I'm just saying we got fucking,
it's Daniel Tice's fault.
Matt Jokic over here.
It's Daniel Tice's fault. It's not Jared's fault. It's not Jared's fault.
It ain't FIBA Tyson's fault.
Bro,
he should have said no.
That man just took my head.
This is the problem, though. I know we don't. I'm just saying.
Blame the person who needs to be blamed.
Y'all think Obama's still a
now, Savage, this is a good. It's a shame you're shaming Matt Ryan. Yeah,
no, the reason I say that is because it is about 3 or 4 teams that have too many centers, right? Orlando being one, Utah being another one, Detroit, Charlotte. Like, all these teams have just 1 or 2 too many centers. And the thing is, some of those teams, they don't really have the avenues. Not even they could get Brandon if they want, but it's like you're not breaking the bank for that type of player in those teams and situations. So it's like it has to be a 3-team, and I think it's going to come from the East because with what the Knicks did, my hope is that somebody in the East like, nah, we need more. It's probably going to be a team like Indiana. Truthfully, like, yo, we need more, and you know they just say fuck it and go all in. I think none of us saw this Carl Anthony. We all knew Julius Randle was getting moved. We didn't know they was going to get cat.
I still think it's kind of the same argument as Indiana. I still think Milwaukee at some point is going to like revisit the Brook Lopez thing. He's on the last year of his deal. Like, I could see them talking themselves into like, Brandon Ingram is like a 4th option, and you move Bobby Portis over to center, and you roll out there with Lillard, Giannis.
What's that deal, Ross? Was it Middleton and Brook or Brook and stuff?
No, if I was going to do that deal, like if you're talking about something 2 or 3 months into the like it's probably like Pat Connaughton, and you're just trading expirings. We give y'all Brandon, y'all give us whatever, Brook Lopez and somebody else to make the money work. Probably like Pat Connaughton or some random ass guy. I think, and maybe they give us a pick or we give them something like that. But it gets you your center.
Why do you hate Pat Connaughton?
I don't hate it. It's just like, just like anyone else. I mean, like, what am I supposed to like Pat Connaughton? Like,
I don't know.
Just like the most run of the mill, dude.
I think
he's fine, but like I could see that type of deal.
Cleveland is still a thing because now that they signed what's homie name who's supposed to be like the next Herb Jones? Okoro. Now that they signed Okoro, it's like, that unit still doesn't like work. Like when you think about it, like it's still like that fit is still not good. Y'all think they revisit the Jared Allen deal or
not until January, right? February.
I think December.
No, you can do it earlier than that. December. Yeah, it's December. I agree with you, Chaz. It's going to be one of those Eastern Conference teams that's like good but not like great. But one of those top 5 Eastern Conference teams that I think that has too many centers and it is going to talk themselves into like, man, Brandon could work.
But the Pelicans need some fucking leverage, man, and that's why like them all the conversation that we're talking about them having a good regular season, whatever it is, they need to get off to a fast start. We're going to talk about this as the season, as we get close to the season. But that's why stuff like that's so important, because right now, I guarantee, like everybody you called about Brandon Ingram, you didn't have any leverage. Nobody was going to pay him. And, you know, whatever you were going to ask for, wasn't nobody giving you for him. And they knew you were more than likely desperate to make some kind of move because you don't have a center. So hopefully you're not in a situation where you're at 500 and you're looking for a center. It's like, man, like, you know, if one of those teams could be like, I know it could be one first, but you really need somebody. You start Daniel Tice 2 firsts, and then you end up with Walker Kessler.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just want to. What you know what's crazy? Like the Pelicans really just need change, bro. They need change. Like when you see how crazy things are happening in the world, you know, some people like to ignore it, but I don't ignore it. I believe in climate change because you could just be walking out on a sunny day, then you hear some thunder, right? And when it's thunder, there's rain. And when there's rain,
not this.
Dang, man! I thought
you updated it at one point to include the playoff games. Like, or did you have a secondary version of that?
You know what? I probably couldn't even get enough like footage.
Oh,
This
bro,
motherfucker doing that.
that's a
Man.
good one. Got a couple more questions, but y'all want to go?
Well, I'm sorry. You had a question up there that I think was addressed to me.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, it was
My bad.
Ross. It was.
My bad.
I think
Was it Chris? Lou, was it this
it
one?
was from Chris. No.
It's funny. That was a funny comment.
Oh my
It
God.
was something about.
Oh, here you go, right?
Yes.
No,
No.
I thought it was something about shooting.
No, it's not starred. Here it is. Y'all can all answer it.
Dang.
Ross, who do you think attempts more threes this year, Herb or Bi? And who has a higher
Attempts. Herb coming off the bench. I don't know. Herb's definitely gonna have the higher 3-point percentage. How many Brandon take? Did Brandon take more than Herb last year?
Took 3.
Brandon took 3.9. And
Lito, it's a Lito stat. Yeah.
Oh man. I lean Herb in both of those, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if Herb's coming off the bench and he loses a couple minutes, I don't know. But I think I'd probably say definitely Herb on the percentage and probably Herb on like gross attempts too.
Okay. Chris?
Good question though.
Chaz?
I agree. I think Brandon will take. I mean, Brandon doesn't take enough threes by default right now, and he averaged more than Herb last year, and Herb's best shooting year. So, I think he'll have more. He'll have the ball. I mean, according to him, all he needs is a point guard, right? So he'll be off ball a little bit more. I mean, at worst, he got to shoot at least 4, bro. He got to shoot at least 4. I mean, even if he rolling his eyes every time he shoots the motherfucker, he got to shoot at least 4. Like,
let him try.
Let him do it. Let him do it.
I'll be ready.
All right. We're gonna do the last question. I want to hear. We're gonna start with Chaz. We're gonna hear everyone's comments on this. Before we get to the last question, if y'all could make sure you smash the like button. It really helps out the channel. We'll obviously be recapping Media Day live tomorrow night. Hopefully, I think since Chaz is coming, I think we're gonna have the whole panel. So we'll have. That's not crazy. He's coming on the show. He's coming on the show. Anyways,
so many other words.
Is this how you return to the show?
Participating.
I don't know if the spot we gotta.
Not about attitude. About this, that. Whoa.
We about to attract the wrong kind of attention, Justin.
Smash the like button. We'll be live tomorrow night. All
what
right,
was the question?
This is what I'm getting to the damn question. I'm getting to the question. Yes.
Hey yo. Hey yo. Hey yo. Hey yo. Hey.
I thought we just deflated Justin's spirit and shit. We're like, dang.
No, I'm good, bro. Yo, I'm sorry. There's trying to be just a little bit of professionalism on this side.
open the door to the Oval Office, and I'm gonna chop that motherfucking desk in half.
You two are, wait, where's the question?
Off the rails, man.
Off the rails. Okay, all right, last question. Make sure you smash the like button. Chaz, we'll go Chaz, Chris, and Ross. Panel, who does the team introduce last at game intros this year?
I'm gonna say based on Will Guillory's article and the national media narrative and things like that, I think it's Zion.
Ooh.
I shouldn't have to think about this shit, but I think it's Zion.
Chris, who is it?
I agree. I think this year is finally Zion.
It's a great question, Chris. Ross?
I've seen us just fail at this so many times. Stuff like this. I've seen them flunk this test so many times that my heart tells me it just unequivocally should be Zion. But if they announce Dejounte Murray first on opening night last, it won't surprise me It won't surprise me in the.
That was my second guess. Because he's the leader,
the new guy, the leader. He's done all this stuff. It won't surprise me even the slightest bit if they screw it up and announce Murray first on opening night. I mean, last on opening night. I'm sorry.
They should just do a rotation at this point. Herb,
No, they shouldn't. It should be even if Zion's hurt, they should announce Zion last.
I know who the fuck shouldn't be announced at all.
Don't say it.
FIBA.
Don't say it. Damn, bro. Last year Zeller, this year Tice. All right. I mean,
well, Tice better pack a lunch. Chris is showing up every post.
I will get thrown out consecutive games. I will show up in this with disguises. I will buy different seats. If Daniel Tice is starting, I'm telling you, I'm gonna clear out my schedule for 2 weeks and just literally just then get thrown out the arena.
Man, yo,
it won't be the first person
that looked like Melvin Ely. It was a guy.
Melvin Ely, bro. Come on.
No, it was another guy who looked exactly like him. They both had braids. One played for the Bobcats and one played for the Pelicans at one point. You can always call him like you always mix them up.
What year was Melvin Ely? Man, that was a long time ago.
Boy, we had some dark days. Now we got Trey Jemison. Things are looking up.
All right, smash the like button. Shout out to you, Chaz, man. It's so good to see you again. Thanks for joining the show.
Welcome back, brother.
Chaz, always a pleasure to have you on. So let's hear from DraftKings. We'll be live again tomorrow night. Make sure you smash the like button. Appreciate everybody in the chat and that watch tonight.
TD, Tutty, taking it to the house, whatever you call a touchdown. They matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? To do so, you have to score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BOOT. That's code BOOT, BOOT, for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 and get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
Appreciate y'all. See y'all tomorrow night.